Okay, so you joined me on my first sort of solo run really since getting the motorbike back from the dealership up in Dundee. It has sat tucked up over the winter sort of period over Christmas anyway, in the garage because the weather has been absolutely horrific. Today's been the first sort of dry day I've had the opportunity to get out. Road's still a bit damp. It's a sprightly 7 degrees, so the heated seat and the heated handlebars are up to the max, which fantastic option, especially if you live in colder climates and want to actually be out and about in the bike as much as you possibly can. Highly recommend them as well. So, wee bit of back roads, just taking a wee sort of trip, hour or so, seeing what the bike's like, getting some much needed miles towards that run in service, talking about a few of the features that I really quite like about it. You know, there's loads of different extras you can add for this bike. I've actually picked pretty much all of them, to be fair. There's a couple of things I haven't got, but pretty much, in my opinion, this is a pretty fully spec bike. You know, just the different things I like about it. The adaptive suspension, for example, getting that bike on and off that centre stand with the electrical raised and centre stand is absolutely fantastic. The suspension also drops down beneath a certain sort of speed limit, and it's much easier for getting on and off. I can actually put both my feet on the ground in this, which I'm 5'11". I really struggled with the R1300GS. I was on my tiptoes a lot of the time, where this is very, very comfortably both feet down, no issues whatsoever. Another thing I quite like on this bike as well is this screen in the middle. Gives really good protection. Moves up and down electrically. You've got your hamburger switch just there. You can press, you can scroll through your features to move it up and down. I've got this set in the up position for whenever I'm riding. Quite nice whenever you actually turn the bike off, the screen actually drops down itself. Don't know why, I suppose, but I guess, you know, it probably actually makes the bike look a bit smarter. Hides that big radar bar at the front as well. So we're just easing the bike through some corners. It's actually soaking up these bumps with ease. You might be able to see through the camera, juddering about a wee bit, but what I can actually feel through the seat is in no way reflective of how bad it actually is as a road. Looks quite new, but it's pretty bumpy, to be fair. So the adaptive suspension, usual's pretty decent as well. I've been really looking forward to getting out in this. I've been sitting looking at it in the garage every time I went through it, just going, it's snow or it's ice, you know, it's torrential rain. There's been a few storms as well, so, you know, it's definitely not been biking weather. Well, certainly not for me anyway. So, first dry day like this, absolutely beautiful. Heated handlebars are fantastic. One of the big things with these is that they actually go up to 3. Don't know if it's a Spinal Tap reference where just 11 helps give you that bit more power. Maybe BMW's decided the 2 wasn't big enough in the 1250s, so let's put it up to 3. But certainly between that and the heated seat, even though it's about 6.5 degrees outside, I'm actually really comfortable on this. Really comfortable. Oh, runners. New year, new you. So I've just got this in road mode at the moment. There's a dynamic pro mode, which introduces things, you know, a bit more, or sorry, even a bit less traction control. The ability to wheelie the bike seems to be a pretty good, attractive option. I don't know if anyone's seen the Sam Vincent video yet, where Sam pretty much engages what he refers to as knob mode, and then proceeds to wheelie the absolute life out of the bike, which, fair play to the lad. There's definitely more power, more torque, you know, than previous models of this. It's a completely new bike, I'll be honest. I know it's a GS, but compared to the 1200 and the 1250s, it's so much lighter, it's more agile. It just feels so much better. It's well done, BMW, for engineering that. How do you make a great thing even better? It's a tough challenge, but I think they've done it. It's a lovely bike to ride. It's definitely not the weather for proper horsing around, to be fair. It's pretty slippy underneath. just take it pretty handy. So for the moment, I'm still going through the running in period. First 600 miles, sadly, you've got to take it very, very easy and keep the revs down, etc. Get it in for the service with BMW, and then after that you can actually take the bike out and see what it's properly like on the back of that as well. So looking forward to that. A couple of really big trips planned already for this year. First one where I'm heading off to in April, which will be over to Amsterdam, overnight ferry, heading down to Luxembourg, staying in a fantastic wee place called Esch-sur-Sûre. Been there before. It's fantastic. Spa race circuits, 20 minutes, half an hour away. A couple hours off to the Nürburgring. If you're into doing some war tours and so on, you've got the Ardennes Forest pretty much in your back door, Battle of the Bulge fans. And then after that we're going to head over towards the Normandy beaches and back up through Cherbourg as well. So proper trip. Doing that with some mates, really looking forward to it. Next trip after that will be in June, which is a tour around Ireland. So getting the ferry over to Belfast, going the whole way around Ireland, which will be absolutely fantastic. Plenty of things packed into that. Trips around Cliff and Moher and so on as well. Almost some overnight stays in Bantry and overnight stay in Dublin for some Guinness, which always tastes better over there than what it does over here. So looking forward to that. Third planned trip so far this year as well, hopefully there's going to be more, a couple of wee weekends, etc. Is a trip down to Wales to travel around Wales with Nick Sanders, who, for those in the biking world who know Nick Sanders, is an absolute character who's currently cycling around the world on his Yamaha electric bike to be the first man to do so. So fair play to Nick, but he does these adventure weekends where you get to stay at his property in these glamping pods. His wife cooks for you, gets all your food etc done, which all you need to do is get up in the morning, get some breakfast, travel around the world, or travel around Wales with one of the world's best known motorcycle adventurists. I'm really looking forward to that one. Nice thing with this BMW GS, shift light, if you've seen that coming up there, warning me to shift, bike knows it's running in, big flashing lights, can't miss that, self-cancelling indicators as well, brilliant feature for a bike. You know, probably one of those things, there's so much to see and do whenever you're actually riding a bike. Some guys will leave their indicators on for ages and ages. This knows whenever you've turned and will actually cancel off as well, so brilliant feature. Again, just another wee thing that makes the bike that bit more modern, that bit more special, I guess. All these lads in cars going, this guy must be an absolute nutter being out in a cold day like this. But truth be told, plenty of weather protection. I'm actually feeling pretty warm. I'm wearing my Club Kodak 2 jacket, which, for those who have seen the video of it, the wee review I done on it whenever I just got it, it's a fantastic bit of kit, the club suit. Nice and warm. I've got the under sort of layer that comes with it, and then just the t-shirt underneath that, so perfectly toasty. This bike's got the adaptive cruise control as a feature, so we'll just give that a wee test. Pop back in here. So cruise control works just exactly the same way it did with the old GS, probably the same with pretty much any new BMW as well, and the same switch gear. Just turn that on, that's it set. We'll put it to the speed limit, of course, and see how we get on whenever we're coming up. So, traffic's just pulled someone across the road, literally right in front of me. So let's see how this works. I'm doing 70, coming up behind these two slower moving cars. Test out the adaptive cruise control, see what starts to happen now. See how close we get to it. If I need to do anything with the bike before engaging it. Nope. Oh, look at that, straight down. Matching their very slow speed on a motorway. There we go, bike's just keeping with that. Perfect. Let's get a wee bit of space. Just going to pull out into here. Blind spot indicators working well. That's it, bike's picking up speed again. That's a brilliant feature for following people, especially if you're going with a lot of guys on tour. Some guys will be, put the floor guys probably to the front, everyone else can kind of follow them, you just go at their speed. You're not having to consistently move up and down, so that's actually a great feature for my sanity. I can just tuck in behind someone and just match whatever they're doing speed-wise. So you can see here, multi-rocker switch with a wee hamburger, as it's known as. We can flip through all the different settings, just using the WYSI wheel. Adaptive cruise control. We've got our heating, which is how we can change our heated seats and so on. We've got our windscreen, which is what I've got this last set on, so I can move the screen up and down, but I quite like it where it is. So I'm actually going to move that back to heating. Select OK. You can see there, if I press the up button now in this, it controls the handlebars. If I press the down button, it controls the heated seat. Press the up. I'll put the handlebars down to 1. I'm not going to do that, I'm going to fire that back onto 2 again. That was quite nice. As you see, I've got the heated seat there to 3, but I'm going to put that down because my backside's in fire. So, down to 2. And that's it. Dead simple. New feature, granted, a lot of people haven't had that before in the 1250s and the 1200s, but dead simple to use. Some other features with this, certainly going into the menu. Those who've had GSs before and used to the BMW system, this is all pretty straightforward. Everything you need to, range, tyre pressure, etc., all absolutely fine. Got your onboard computers, trips. Tells me that I've got a service in 501 miles. Fantastic. And we've got a new feature to the GS, which is the sport mode. So this is taken from the S1000RR and the new M1000RR models as well. So you can actually turn your dash into this awesome looking sports dash, which, don't get me wrong, with a GS, I think it's probably more for a bit of fun rather than using it all the time. But I'll tell you what your brakes are like, how much traction control you're using. It even works at your lean angles as well. So it tells you what your maximum lean angle is. So that's proper bragging rights back in the pub after a day out, so you can get their knee closest to the ground on one of these things. Certainly won't be me anyway, put it that way. But that's there for those lads out there that like a bit of that. Navigation, if it's hooked up to your phone, using the BMW Motorrad app, display settings into there. I've not hooked the phone up yet for media settings, and I've just bought a new phone as well, so it's not actually going to work with telephone, so I need to sync the phone to this too. The settings menu, there's not an awful lot you can do with the settings menu just now while you're on with the bike anyway. It's all designed to be played about with whenever you're actually going. Because you can adjust the suspension, etc. as well for what's on that too. Things like the lights you can control whenever the lights come on. So, quite configurable. It looks a bit hard, it's not. It's a really, really easy system once you get the grips with it. My 2018 had the TFT screen in it as well, so this is second nature, just with the addition of hamburger, which controls those main features that you'd really want to use, like the heated seats and the front windscreen. Blind spot detectors are a really nice feature actually. Something I've never had in a bike before. Do you see it popping up whenever you're overtaking cars, let you know it's not safe to pull back in? Some of you might be familiar with this road, the road into Glasgow, the A77, the M77 I guess, given it's a motorway. Scotland's largest car park at 6:30 to 9:30 every weekday morning. One thing I really like about this bike is the gear shifts. It just feels so much slicker. I don't know if it's because it's brand new or if they've actually redeveloped that, but that's just... The 1200 and the 1250s were classed as tractors, I guess, because they were just so agricultural. You know, you knew what you were doing, big solid noises, big solid clunks. Probably a bit of reassurance with that. This thing's as smooth as anything. It's lovely. It's amazing how much protection's coming off that screen. I'm 5'11" and I'm absolutely fine. is the way they've got that designed. And these two additional protective bits of sort of plastic in front as well. Don't think you get them in the trophy model. There's a couple of bikes I've seen people sort of collecting their trophies and it doesn't look like they've got them. So I don't know if that's either an extra or if it's something you have to get with the triple black or Tramuntana, or if it's maybe TE spec, I guess. So, but all going the right direction to giving you as much wind protection as possible. One thing to own a motorbike is that you certainly know there's loads of cars driving about smoking cannabis anyway. You get that smell every time. At the moment it seems to be every 10 or 15 cars. Welcome to Glasgow. See now the bike's in the lower position. Adaptive cruise control, or adaptive suspension, sorry, has dropped it down nicely. Nice wee trip up to Infinity Motorcycles to pick up the Kriega OS6 side bag. So they'll go on the bike once the crash bars come, eventually from SW Motec. Handy for just some additional storage whenever you're away for a bit of time. Seems like when I was younger I used to be able to go for quite a while with not much sort of luggage. Now I'm a bit older, all your creature comforts, good to take them with you. Having that wee bit extra space certainly helps. Sun visor job for that, my goodness, sunshine in Scotland in January. At least people come for the scenery, certainly not the weather. So it's just a wee trip out today, stretch the legs on the bike, start chipping away at some of these miles towards this running in service. So I get that done in the next couple of weeks, although I think there's a snowstorm planned for next week, which isn't really going to help matters trying to get out. But it is what it is, the joys of buying a bike in December and January. So it's one of those things. I was one of the first people in the country to get this bike. Got it early December. You know, a lot of people are still waiting deliveries and orders, and a lot of people are getting a hold of them, you know, now, which is good, but it seems like such a waste for it to arrive in nothing but rain and storms and snow and ice. So it is what it is. Definitely know there's plenty of torque in this bike. Increase in torque and increase in horsepower over the 1250 as well, which is good. Big improvements from BMW. You know, always one of those things whenever you've got these Ducatis and the KTM 1290s, for example, and the Ducati Multistradas that are pushing like 170 and nearly 180 horsepower, you know, should BMW have maybe went towards that power level, trying to give that, but one of those things, isn't it? I suppose not everyone wants to go absolutely rapid. You know, quick enough's absolutely fine, and 145 horsepower this has got, certainly plenty. I've not been able to take it properly and give it the full beats because of this running in service, so soon, my friend, soon. So a lot of chat at the moment between this and the 1250. Which one should you buy? Obviously this is a newer bike. 1250, there's some absolutely cracking deals on the go at the 1250 just now. Obviously, you know, the new adventure is probably going to be released or announced at some point this year, 2024. Expected to probably have vehicles arrive in 2025, but at the moment, if it was, well, it is my money that was on the table, I guess, because I had the choice of buying the 1250 Adventure, but no, I'm absolutely delighted with the 1300. There's a lot of talk about that front headlight still. I just remember the days, the 1200s and the even 1150s came out with the wonky headlight. People hated them. Same with the S1000Rs and so on as well, with that sort of differential between the two headlights. A lot of people didn't like that either. Now look at them, absolutely fine. So I reckon give this time, more and more of these get on the road, they'll just become the norm. People will learn to accept it. Have to let go of the past. That's another thing actually with the new headlights. Probably haven't picked this up just yet. Certainly as the sun's going down, we might actually see this in action on the way home. But the new headlights have got a sort of motion sensors on them, I guess, you know, to help whenever you're going around corners. They'll project the light around the corner to help. So again, another thing that BMW's had an absolutely fantastic improvement on over the old 1250 as well. You know, there's not many negatives I can see, to be honest, for having this bike. Those gear changes are fantastic, how smooth they are. That's lovely. What a big difference with the gearing. Absolutely fantastic. Lovely, buttery smooth. No huge clunk that you got with the 1200. See there, the seat height at the moment, it's in the high setting. I actually feel the whole bike sitting high, back to adventure biking, you know, perfectly natural. Come up to a roundabout up ahead here and we'll actually feel the bike dropping down as well. So once it gets beneath, I think it must be about 15 miles an hour, so start to feel the bike settle down a bit. And again, brilliant for getting your feet down. Shorter riders, people, you know, are going to absolutely love this. I'm 5'11", so anyone sort of 5'11", 6 foot will quite easily, you know, your feet will be nice and flat on the ground with this once it's stationary. Which, especially if you're all loaded up, ready for a trip somewhere, not having all that extra weight just balancing on your tiptoes, I think it's a pretty good thing, to be honest. Well worth it with the adaptive height control. One of the extras I didn't get was the Enduro kit. It's one of those things, because some people go, oh, you might need it, you might not need it, etc, etc. Came a lot of extras that I didn't like. I actually really like the indicators and the handlebars. To be honest, I think it's just, they look pretty cool, to be fair. And if you go for the Enduro pack, it actually removes them and it puts the indicators onto the actual plastic on the bike. So, not for me. I know people will want it if you're going to be taking the bike off-road, you know, and rallying it about and dropping it all the time, then yeah, trying to replace the indicators on these are going to cost a bit more than just a handguard. So I get that, there's probably a cost element to it, but I'm not planning on dropping the bike, to be fair. So don't really see a need to use of that. But by not having the Enduro kit, took away the crash bar feature. And the crash bars that come from BMW were silver. And I was sitting looking at this, going, do we get the silver ones, or do we try and get a set of black ones which will fit in? And I'm really glad I went for the black ones. They were supplied by SW Motec. There's a fitting video on them. Really, really like them. Anything I think SW Motec do are absolutely fantastic. I'm a huge fan. Got this tank bag just in front of me here. Trusty, handy for keeping everything in there. Again, a wee fitting video on how to use the Daypack Pro and how to fit it. So, as I say, the crash guards are on. At the moment, just the lowers. Uppers haven't come into stock yet. But I've been told they'll be due, you know, in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get a wee video on them. And I say that'll just give this a bit more of a adventure sort of bike feel. We're quite intrigued to see what the new Adventure is going to look like as well. So, I reckon that's going to be a big hitter, despite what people say about that headlight. Saying, oh, I'm just going to keep the 1250, I can guarantee you that's going to be a big seller. All these guys will end up getting it a year or two down the line and just going, well, it grew on me. So that's just me home now. Absolutely freezing cold night tonight. I think it's probably about 2 degrees at the moment, so trying to get the bike tucked up.
all I can say this, if you're on the fence with getting this bike, go and take it a test ride. You will not be disappointed. Anyone who got the 1200, 1250 or even any other type of adventure bike, this is a huge thing for BMW. This is, it's definitely an evolution for them, you know, from that. It's a completely different animal. It rides so nice and it looks absolutely fantastic as well. I'm sure you can agree on that. Thank you.